going to do more, of course, come January. Right now, we have a steady flow of church attendances. So I belong to Greater Calvary Baptist Church, where Reverend Lands, some of you may have heard of him. I think he's being sued right now by the firefighters. He and Nelson Linder are being added as private individuals to that lawsuit that they're filing. But I belong to his church, and I went to his church because of who he was. It took a long time to decide which church to join when I came to Austin. I started off on South First and Bannister when I first moved to town. I bought a home in the district at the time on Northridge. Yeah, Northridge was in Precinct 1 when I bought my home, I promise. So since then, of course, it's not. And so everybody complains about the moving lines, so obviously I had to go and move, you know, a few months ago over to Cameron Road. I'm renting my home out to my children. My gosh, that's an interesting concept too. But what we're doing is we're going to churches. I'm accessing the children over, my children, the young folks over at Houston Tillerson. I have a niece who's over there. And what we plan to do is do a lot of block walking, of course, but in light of that, community organizations, and as I understand the issue, the way you get to people, it's knowledge. The more you educate, then the more activated people are going to be. So right now, we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. Walking is going to be good, that's true, but it's really going to be getting information out through churches and through the community organizations. So we plan to do more of that, and we're still thinking in progress on how to do that. I'm a frequent participant with the African American and girls and boys thing that Michael Lofton puts on. I've been a primary speaker. I've been part of the workshops, and so that's always a way to get out information too. So we're going to be doing that more often, but we still have a plan coming up.
We've been working at this since February, talking about it, strategizing, and well, again, 10 years in the precinct. We lived for 6 years in University Hills, and now we live in 4 years in Rosewood. We know the people in the neighborhood organizations from both of those neighborhoods and in the other neighborhoods surrounding. We know Precinct 1 very well. We've been out to get our name on the ballot, and that means going door to door, going to fairs, community events, getting signatures so that we can do that. So we've been elevating the JP1 race and getting that into people's minds. That's one way that we're doing. We're also deputized ourselves as registers, and we've been registering folks in East Austin. Just getting into this race in the first place, I think, is also increasing turnout. The JP1 office hasn't been available for more than 30 years, and it has fallen off of everybody's radar. And so we are, just by jumping in and saying we want to do something with this, whether we win or lose, it's bringing it back to people's attention, and it means that people have to think about it, and hopefully that will, you know, I don't have unrealistic expectations, but I do believe that it will bring more people out to the polls. And that's always a net plus. And, you know, we're making it a part of our campaigns to just educate people what exactly is a JP, because that's the first question that everybody asks when we're out on the town. What is it that a JP does? And now, again, whether we win or lose, people will have that, and they will have a better understanding of a service that's available to them. Another thing that I'm doing that I think ultimately increases East Side turnout is when you work on increasing access to courts. I'm working with Judge Vasquez at the Municipal Court and Sarah Buell from the Domestic Violence Clinic over at the law school, and we're working on reformation of the juvenile justice system at the lowest level, the Class C level that brings kids into the JP courts. And when we get that worked out, and we have a plan, we've been strategizing in each other's homes for the last few months, we know that that's going to increase justice in the courts, which means people will be more likely to appreciate the services that they have, and will make it relevant to them, and they'll get out and also want to vote for who's good to run those courts.
Thank you, both of you.
What is the significant difference between you, besides the obvious, that should influence voters?
You know, I think that we think that the difference is obvious, but it's not really. I don't think that we have a distinguishing feature on that remarks. We both come from power minorities, and Yvonne has my tremendous respect because I know, as somebody from a similar background, different circumstances, but similar results, that this world is more interesting when you come from that background. Let's just put it that way. I think the thing that distinguishes us is not something that you can see on the surface necessarily, because I think Yvonne, I think there's the difference that maybe you can see on the surface. Let me take that back. There is a difference you can see on the surface, and it is age. And I come from a generation that knows how to use technology to maximize efficiency in our governmental services, and I have grown up with that, and I know how to use that to our benefit. And I'm at the beginning of my career, and I have a lot of energy and a lot of ideas about how to do this, and this is a position where that energy is perfectly directed. And so that's the distinction I would make, is I have I have a horizon of 20, 30 years down the road, and I have plenty of stuff that I can do and that I want to do, and I have the energy to make that happen.
So I tell you what, I'll keep it for 2 terms and then you can have it. You're right. I think the difference is I think the difference is of course experience. Now, you know, please visit my website. Can I say that? Sure. He's got one too. Because I currently teach karate over at Dottie Jordan. I have for the last 10 years. In fact, I just spent half the day yesterday at my end of the year karate meeting that all black belts must go to keep things going. And I probably have adult attention deficit syndrome because I'm all over the place. So I've got the energy, Daniel. I've got the energy. I think the difference, of course, is going to be experience. And it's going to be having had experience. What works and what doesn't work. Other thing is being able to network and work with people. All of us, we're both, as you said, intelligent and charming. Was that the word? Yes. I think, though, that one of the things, too, is being able to access people immediately and have had a history with those folks. I've already have on my support list Representative Eddie Rodriguez, Representative Donna Dukes, Ms. Delco just joined the list today. Jerry Harris, I don't know if y'all remember him from being a city attorney years ago, as well as a municipal judge, as well as a county court judge, and a few more folks. Please visit the list and see. But I think it's experience, and I have this amazing knack for humor, I do believe. And I've never taken myself seriously, and I think Daniel, that you could probably slide into that to some extent too. But never take myself too seriously. Never thought being a lawyer was a big deal. In fact, we made people run fun of our opponents by calling them esquires.
All right, let's